So many of you have asked me to show you when I make a paella, which I'm doing today. I feel like a nice little paella, so I'm making a little bit of a different one to the one I normally make. So I'm going to run through the ingredients, I'm going to show you what I use, and then I'll show you how I make the whole paella, and I'll do a little video and you can follow it and you can pick and choose what you want to use and do your own from there. So today I'm making a chicken and prawn paella. So I'm using whole pieces of chicken. I've got some nice pink prawn tails without the head on, that's been deveined, and they got the shell on. Sometimes I prefer them without the shell, but you can use those, they're pretty good. I've got the correct rice, which is the Montsia Spanish rice, paella rice. There's a place in PE that sells it, and you can also get it from yappiechef.com. So I'm using the prawns, I'm using the chicken wings as well as the chicken pieces. I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of the local West Coast half shell mussels on top at the end. I'm going to add pitted green olives, which is one of my favorites because it's got a nice crunch to it and it actually works very well with the rice and the stock. I've got some Mediterranean style tomatoes and normal tomatoes, which I haven't decided yet which one I'm using. I've got a little bit of tomato paste, which I will dilute in one of the stocks. I'll show you that as we go along. I've got some fresh saffron, which you don't have to put in. Some of the stuff is a little bit, this is a little bit pricey, but if you can get fresh saffron, it does give a nice flavor to it. I've also got some saffron oil that's also available locally in South Africa that you can get. And then I'm going to just take a little quick walk over here. And the veggies, we've got some red peppers, some fine green beans, got a white and a red onion chopped up, and I've got some frozen baby petit pois peas, which are the best little peas you can get. I don't like normal big peas because the shells are too hard on them and they're not really nice in a dish like that. So we've got the veggies and we've got the meat, and we're going to put this paella together. There's another little spice that I use, which I'll also show you as we go along. It's a little paella spice, and over there I've got the pan ready, and we're going to start putting the whole process together, and I will show you exactly how to make a paella. So basically for the stock that we use for the rice, we use about 4 liters of stock, and the first liter I like to use like a Woolies tomato paste one, and I use basically about 3 or 4 big tablespoons full of paste like that. I will actually taste it and adjust it, and then to make that a little bit less sour, I will add like 2 tablespoons of sugar, brown sugar, and then I will fill this up to a liter, and I will test it and see if it needs any adjustment. A little bit, must taste like tomato water, and it must also have a little bit of sweetness and just take the edge off the acidity of the tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and do this and check it and adjust it, and this will be the first addition that I do to the paella rice as stock. The second one will be chicken stock, and the other 2 will be plain water. Otherwise you overpower your rice, the flavor of the rice, you overpower with whatever stock you put in. So I like to do a little mix, so I'll show you as we go along. This is the first step. Okay, so there's the paella. We're going to start with the pan, and we've got the cooker. And if you ever come across one of these cookers at Builder's Warehouse, Builder's Express, they're the best because it's got a nice flame. I'll show you there. It's got a nice distribution of the flame. It makes the pan work very nicely. It spreads it very evenly, and it also gives you a nice crust at the end. So let's start the paella. Okay, so basically we've got the onions, the half a cup of olive oil, the onions chopped up roughly. I've used the white and 1 red onion, and I've chopped up about 5 cloves of garlic. Nice rough chop, and I've got that going here in the pan, and we're going to just give that a bit of a fry up, and then we're going to add the chicken. We're going to spice the chicken, we'll add the rice, and I'll show you as we go along. Lekker. Okay, so we've pre-cooked the onions and garlic a little bit. We'll add them back in. Now we added the chicken, so we can get this going and get this cooked quite nicely. We'll spice the chicken, salt, pepper, and some paprika. And I'll show you as we go along, but now we're going to fry the chicken pieces whole like this in olive oil until they sort of half cooked before we add the rest of the stuff. Okay, got quite a nice salt and pepper spice on the chicken, as you can see. Himalayan salt, and white pepper, two best ingredients you can get. We're going to fry up the chicken a little bit and then I'll add some paprika as we go along. Okay, so the chicken's been browning nicely and cooking in the pan. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the prawns and I'm going to just fry them up a little bit with the chicken. And then I'll deglaze it with like a half a cup of white wine. I use the Robertson's dry white crispy wine for cooking. And then I'll show you as we go along. So I'm going to add the prawns now and then just fry them up with the chicken. Deglaze the pan and then start adding the veg and the rice. Lekker. Okay, lekker. So now we've added the prawns. I'm going to fry these up a little bit with the chicken, and then I'm going to add a little bit of paprika and show you from there. This is a nice little stage. Now getting all the meat together. Get the prawnies in here. Lekker. Fry them up a little bit. Okay, we've got the paprika. I've used about a tablespoon of paprika, normal red paprika. I'll show you the box here. It's the Robertson spice like that. I've added that over the prawns and the chicken. I'm going to continue stir frying it and then I'm going to deglaze it with a half a cup of white wine once that's fried up. Stay tuned. Okay, we've now added back the onion and garlic into the mix here, and everything's frying quite nicely. I'm now slowly going to start adding some veg and some rice and then some stock to get the paella on the go. So this is the preparation stage, and it's looking and smelling absolutely fan-flippin-tastic. So I also forgot to mention that we add chorizo, which is a Spanish sausage cured. You can buy it at Woolies or at ShopRite. Spar even sells it. So you get a nice paprika smoked chorizo. You take the skin off and you slice it into little medallions like that, and then you just add that to the paella. It's just one of the things that they add to. So nice chorizo sausage. Okay, like this, so I'm going to add some of the veg. I'm adding the little red peppers. I'm going to grab the beans. Nice little greenery there. Some green beans. I'm going to stir fry this in a little bit with the rest of it. And then I'm going to start adding the rice, fry the rice up, and then start adding stock to this whole mix. It's absolutely smelling and looking delicious. Okay, lekker. So before I add the rice, I'm going to add the 2 tins. I've decided to go with this Mediterranean style tomato. It's got like a nice mix of stuff in. So I've decided to add this. So I'll just mix in, and then I'm going to add the rice in here and fry that up. And then we can start adding stock, which means we're then building the paella. Fantastic. Okay, I'm now going to add the peas. They're just frozen peas, but I'm adding them last before I add stock so that they don't overcook. And they add a nice vibrant color to the paella. That's looking awesome. Okay, so slowly start adding the tomato stock to get the liquid up to level. I'm going to settle the rice. So everything's in. So you're going to really, after the tomato stock, last time you're going to stir a little bit to settle it in, and then you're going to leave it to settle, and you're going to add the chicken stock in the water. So we'll just watch this disappear a little bit, and then we'll just keep topping it up, and then I'll show you from there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these mussels. Jill just almost tripped over the bag of charcoal, but she's fine. I'm going to take these mussels and I'm going to just lie them in here because I'm still adding a little bit of stock. So I'm feeding it slowly. As you can see, it's only had the tomato stock so far, so it's busy. You can see it's thickening up quite nicely. So I've got some chicken stock that I'm going to add next, and I'm going to go with that, and then I'm going to just check and see how it goes. Okay, great. So what I've done is I've flipped the mussels upside down so that they can cook nicely. I've added some green pitted olives. I've used 1 liter of tomato stock, 1 liter of chicken stock, and 1 liter of clear boiled water to get this up to the stage where I think the rice is cooked. We're now going to just do the crust, which is called the succulent. So you let all the stock evaporate, and you hear like a crickle and pop, like almost like eating post toasties and milk, or Rice Krispies. That's the one. When it pops like a crackle and pop, that's when you know that the crust is busy forming, like a nice golden brown crust. And then you switch it off. We put the lemon wedges on top, and we cover it in tin foil so the lemon wedges with the heat become very juicy and everything gets to set and rest. And then we have the paella. So we'll show you as soon as that's done. I'm going to leave it now to let this last little bit of moisture cook away, and I'm going to let it crackle and pop a little bit so we can form a crust. And then once that's all done, I'll cover it and I'll show you the end result. Lekker. Okay, the crucial part is that once it's done and all the water's evaporated and you think the crust is formed, you then cover it with tin foil and you leave it for about a half an hour to stand and let all that moisture just soak up and the rice just swell out and everything marries, and it's going to taste absolutely fantastic. So I've put the lemon wedges in here before I covered it with tin foil because the heat pulls the lemon juice out, and once the lemon's warm it juices so much more when you squeeze it over the paella. So it's going to be fantastic. I'll show you when we open this and we're ready to eat it. I'll show you how flippin' awesome this is. Very lekker.